Yo, welcome to Fast Forward Mindset Motivational Podcast. I'm your host, Coach James. This is where we rewire your thoughts, reset your mindset, and fast forward your life. No more rewinding, just discipline, motivation, and the truth you need to become unstoppable. If you're ready to elevate your mindset and take control of your future, you're in the right place. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is going well. So, y'all, in a few months here, things are going to change for me. And I don't want to say drastically, but things are going to change. My setup I have, where our podcast, and all that stuff's going to change. And so I'm going to let you all know, or you'll see that my background has changed once I start back podcasting. I probably will take a little bit of time off, maybe like a week and a half to get myself organized, but that's not until late May. So want to share that with y'all, just so y'all had a heads up and didn't think I just bailed out on y'all. I will keep y'all posted as it get closer to that time. Not being yourself is identity theft. And today identity theft is big. People today try to steal your identity to become you. Now, I don't mean literally become you or be a knockoff of you, but however, they will steal your identity so they can present themselves as you, right? They may not be exactly you, but they're using your identity to be you. But not being your true self is identity theft. And I want to talk about that today because I feel like that's a lot of us. We are not genuinely ourselves, and we are robbing ourselves of our true identity. But before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that follow button. When you hit that follow button, you'll never miss a moment to rewire the way you think. Yeah, y'all, I used to struggle with this back in the day with identity theft. And I tell you where my identity theft came in at was being a people pleaser. I wanted to please everyone and make everyone around me or close friends happy because that was me not being my true self. And me doing that was seen as a people pleaser. But in my mind, how I visualize it is that everybody likes me. Everybody thinks I'm cool. I was really brought into that everyone's got to think I'm cool and that everyone likes James. But as I got a little bit older and more mature, I started to realize people aren't going to like you just because they don't like you. But not being your true self is identity theft. And I want you all to stop and think really after this episode about, are you really not being your true authentic self? And what makes it great is I'm going to give you some things you can do at the end here to help you determine, are you being your authentic self? And if you're not, how to find your real identity. Now, sometimes we just want to fit in with people. And because we want to fit in, we kind of change our identity. You ever notice like a group or a pack of dudes, they run together and for some strange reason, either they all got on Jordans. Everybody wear Jordans today. Maybe that's not the best example to use. but anyways, though, they all got on the same color shirt. They're all sagging their jeans. They all got the same bag, what have you. But that is a group of people who hang out and they have now molded their identity to be like one another because when they go around people, people can say, oh, that's this group. They all hang out together. And because they all hang out together, they all got the same bag, right? They're a group of ballers, right? They all play hockey. I don't know, but it's just, that's how we tend to mold our identity to fit in with a crowd of people so people can identify us as them or as such, right? Happens a lot, especially in high school, in your younger days, when you really don't know your true identity. And I know some adults today that does that. I mean, they'll meet a different pack of people. They start dressing like them, acting like them, and being like them. And I'm like, bro, you was not acting that way a couple of months ago. Chill out, right? But a lot of us do it just to fit in or to be a people pleaser. like I just said earlier, being a people pleaser is not the business. But in some cases, we do that and we think that's our true identity. Being who people want you to be is not your true identity as well. I'll give you an example. I had this friend that I went to school with for years, and she had met this guy. And this girl carried herself really well. She dressed nice, kept her hair done, kept her nails done. But when she met this guy, she just fell head over heels for him. And when I used to talk to her, she had like all these standards and things that she wanted her guy to be like, or for him to bring to the table. Well, when she met this guy, after so many months went by, she realized he was not that guy, but she still continued to date the guy and be with the guy. And me being a good non-judgmental friend, I just listened to her talk. I wasn't trying to tell her, no, you're going against your morals, your beliefs, or what have you. I just let her do her thing. But over time, I seen her start to change more and more and more. And in my mind, I'm like, you're not being your true self, because you said that you wanted a guy that did this and did that, and you would not accept this and you would accept that. And so I started to really, really notice that she really started to become somebody that she told herself she would never be because of love. And it was really, really strange to watch her become somebody that she's not, because she started to change over time, not really caring about herself anymore, not doing her hair like it used to be done, not keeping up with her nail maintenance, like all that just started to just go down the drain. And you can see that the guy that she was with is just like mentally and physically draining her. And it got to a point where I had to tell her, like, hey, you are a totally different person from what I knew 6 months ago. She got a little offended in the beginning, because I never, like I said, I never really spoke up like that or tried to make her seem as if I was judging her. But in the beginning, when I brought it to her attention, she kind of got a little, her feathers got ruffled. But after a while, she came back to me and she was like, man, you right. I changed because this guy that I was with was not a good guy. He was mentally draining. And I was like, well, I tried to tell you, but you just kind of ruffled your feathers and you kind of got a little upset with me. She goes, I know. And that's why I'm coming back to you today to let you know, thank you. Because if you wouldn't have said that, I probably would have kept being that person that I didn't want to become. And she says, I was really with a guy who made me lose my identity. I forgot who I was. And I was like, it happens a lot. It does. Right. And so if you ever encounter that scenario where you're with someone and you start to change over time, it happens. But you got to make sure that you're still being your true, genuine self, and you are maintaining your identity of who you said you are and who you're going to be. My biggest struggle, like I said, y'all, was being a people pleaser. And it would change my identity. And I don't live my life like that anymore. If someone asks me for something and I got it, I got it. If I don't, I got it. I don't. I don't jump over the hill to go find it for them. I don't make time available. I don't have. I'm just like, hey, I can't do it. Unfortunately, sorry. Maybe next time. And so I'm not going to be that guy that makes things easier for everyone else and makes things hard on myself. Now, that doesn't mean I won't help someone if I have the availability or the finances to do so. Don't take me wrong, y'all. I'm not saying that. However, I'm saying I'm not going to be a people pleaser to make it happen when I don't really have it, right? And so that's what we really got to be careful of, is that we don't change our identity in trying to make something happen for somebody else, and truly it's just not our identity. I was in high school and it was this girl who asked me for money. We're in line getting food. And I was known as a really cool, like chill back dude in school. And so females would come up to me and talk to me and stuff like that. And I was a really shy guy in high school. So I didn't really open up to too many people. I mean, I had my little clique I hung with, my little homies that, I used to pick up for school, drop them off or go to the mall with. But I wasn't really that dude that was just out there like that. Now, my brother was, everyone knew who my brother was, and they knew me through my brother. And it's kind of funny. They would get us mixed up. They would call me my brother's name, because we did have some characteristics that were the same. We looked alike. but people would call me him, and I'm like, I'm not him. I'm James. I'm not him. And so it was kind of funny. But one day in line, there was a girl that come up to me, and my buddies behind me, and we're getting Taco Bell. We saw like the little cart, the push away cart with Taco Bell on it. It was the bomb, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it was great. But anyways, so this girl come up to me and she's like, "Hey James, you got $1?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got $1." So I worked, y'all, my whole high school life, I guess I would say. And so I always had money in my pocket. I always dressed nice. I had on a nice pair of kicks and jeans and kept my haircut. But this girl came up to me and said, "You got $1?" I was like, "Yeah, I got $1." Well, my homeboy behind me gets mad and be like, "Don't give her no dollar. You don't know her." And I'm like, "What? Don't give her no dollar. You don't know her." I'm like, "But why do you care?" He's like, "Well, because you don't know her. You just give somebody $1 you don't know." And in my mind, y'all, I'm just being a generous guy to a female, right? And that was my true identity back then. I was just nice to females. If any female would come up to me and say, "You got 50 cents, you got a quarter, you got $1," excuse me, more than likely, if I had it, I would have gave it to him. And so that was me being my true identity. But like I said, I had a friend behind me asking me, why am I giving a female money that I don't know? He wanted me to not be who I truly am just to please him and to make him feel better because now I'm not giving a girl $1. And he was probably going to turn around and ask you for $1 himself. Who knows? But since I gave it to her, I didn't have it. I gave it to her, right? But that was my identity, to be a nice guy when it come to women, and that was who I was. So at that point, I wasn't trying to be a people pleaser and just give it to her because I wanted her to think that I'm cool. I gave her $1 because that was my identity. I was a generous man, a high school kid who had money in my pocket, and I didn't feel like there was nothing wrong with me giving her $1. So I gave her $1. Wasn't the worst thing that I could do. Believe me. I've done worse in my life. But anyway, so yeah, y'all. So you really got to find a way to be your true self and find your identity. You know, y'all, a lot of times we wear name tags that identify us. It's not really us. We want to be the cool person. We want to be the person that does this. We want to be known for being the playboy. We want to be known for having the nicest cars. We want to be known for having the nicest shoes. Some of us, that's our identity, but that's not really an identity. An identity is who you are genuinely within yourself. Who are you internally? That's your identity. Not because you own a lot of material things. That shouldn't be your identity. Not because you popular. That shouldn't be your identity. Your identity should be who you are. I was a generous kid in high school who always worked, who had money in my pocket because my mom and dad didn't take all my money. I had $1 or two laying around, and if someone came and asked me if I had $1, genuinely enough, I would give it to them and say, here you go. Here's $1, right? That's who my identity was. But for those of y'all who struggle with your identity and you're really trying to find yourself today, in identity crisis, y'all, has no age limit on it. You could be 60 years old and not know who you are and been living a false identity your whole life. So there's no age limit to this stuff. So if you feel like you're older and you already know your identity or you don't know your identity, you might be right. But I'm going to give you some things you can do on how to find and live out your true identity. Number one, who are you? Who are you really in reality? That's an important question when people ask you who you are. And if you can't answer that question, I'm afraid for you. I am a 47-year-old Black male who has a podcast, who works in corporate America, who's been married for almost 16 years. Well, been with my wife for 16 years. I have 5 adult children. I have a family. I have support. And I have goals set for myself for my future. Y'all see that? I know who I am. It didn't take me long to try to figure out who I am or what is my nationality. Am I married? Am I single? Am I a father? Am I not a father? I know these things already, y'all. So that's who I am. And I stand tall on that statue because that's who I am. But if you don't know these things about yourself, you got to go find your statue, right? Yes, of course, you should know your nationality. You should know your ethnicity, right? Of course, you should know your age, and that should be your age. But some of us is 45 and we act 20, right? So in reality, is that really your true identity? Are you acting like a 45-year-old person or are you acting like a 20-year-old person? Now, I know R. Kelly got a song that says age ain't nothing but a number, but still, y'all, still, you still got to be within a certain maturity level if you're a certain age, at least in my opinion, right? So who are you? What do you bring to the table? What are you, right? I told you I'm a podcaster. I work in corporate America. I'm a married man with 5 adult children. So that's who I am, right? And that's also what I am as well, right? And I'm looking to do bigger and better things in the future for myself. Where am I going? What do I want to do in life? What do I want to accomplish? I want to open a gym. I want my gym to be full of positive people who believe in Jesus Christ, who looking to achieve the same goal in life. That's health, fitness, and mental maturity. That's the type of gym that I want, right? Mental maturity is big, y'all, because a lot of us struggle with mental health, right? And some of us are just chemically imbalanced, but that doesn't mean you can't have mental maturity, right? You can still think at a certain level and do certain things based on your maturity level with your mentality, right? And so that's where I'm going. That's what I want to do, and that's what I want to accomplish, right? And all who, what, and where makes up my purpose in life. And so once you figure out those things, you will know your true identity. There's not going to be anything that's going to make you question your authentic self because you're going to know who you are. Someone will come up to you and say, hey, man, you want to hang out with us and do this? You'll be like, no, that's not who I am. Like me, for example, I got a couple friends that are single. Well, in their single life, they do single man things. I know that I can't 100% associate myself with that because I'm a married man. And if I start hanging around with single guys, I might start acting like I'm single and start taking on doing single things. And now I look like I'm single, but I'm married. So not saying that I'm easily influenced because I'm not, but I'm saying, y'all, you kind of got to mold yourself to really know your true identity. And again, I said it a minute ago, that's that mental maturity in me. Like I know that there's things that I should do and there's things that I shouldn't do because it might lead to this. It might lead to that. That's mental maturity, y'all. And when you have mental maturity, you're really being your true, authentic self. So this is how you become your true, authentic self. Answer those questions, put them on a piece of paper, take a mental note, but whatever you do, I'm requesting you that you no longer live a life of identity theft. Become your true, authentic self. Thank y'all for listening. I really appreciate it. Hey, y'all, go check out my website. It's www.rewiredthewayouthink.com. Y'all, don't forget to hit that follow button. When you hit the follow button, you'll never miss a moment to rewire the way you think. I'm not hard to find, y'all. I'm on IG all day, every day. It's James Watkins at 40 and Fit Life Coach. If you're struggling today with thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. And as I always say, practice daily mindset rehabilitation. And that's my 2 cents on it, y'all. Peace.
Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.